Okay, here's the last question we'll do today, week 2, which is this. And there's actually been several of these that have worked. And I'm guessing it's a mom writing questions. How do they get the dad and the son to get along? I don't know how it is. Maybe a dad and a son, just not, maybe the dad always sees the negative things, or just the habits are bad. Give a mom a help, and give dads a help. How can dads reconnect with their sons?
Well, I think one of the things we were talking about earlier is not coming across so harsh and critical and not thinking you're right all the time. You talked earlier today about not abusing your position of authority, not abusing the position that you're in. And I see that going both ways. Sometimes I see the father abusing their position like, hey, you're going to do this. I told you to do it. You don't question me. It's going to be that way. In reality, that's true, but you don't have to say it like that. You don't even need to say it. I mean, that's just the way your home should be structured, to where parents are in control. A lot of homes nowadays, though, what happens, parents aren't in control. And when it gets to these kind of situations, usually what I've seen, it's where they've grown up with that slot machine type parenting going on. Not always, but to where, they just try to make their kids happy. And then they get to adolescence and their kids wanting to stay out all night or wanting to do this, and all of a sudden they come down on them and they don't know how to deal with that. And I see oftentimes the mom getting in between them, which is never a good place to be. Yeah, so I think you have to have clear-cut boundaries. Get back again, you have to have a united front. But I would just encourage that dad to rebuild that relationship with that son, not focus so much on rules. He already knows what the rules are. You don't need to continually remind him. Don't get in every day and say, did you do this? Did you go do that? Don't make that be the first thing that you say. Even if sometimes I think that with my son, that's not where I go when I first go home. I try to, hey, how's your day? I'm going to get to whatever he didn't do. But I don't start off with that. So I think you don't, you're not going to, you can never be mean enough to change them, and that's what we do a lot of times. If this level of being tough dad doesn't work, I'm going to go here. And we keep escalating, and then that's at the point where they usually go to therapy.
Okay, let me put you on a spot. Obviously, you were kind of in the back of your mind, you were thinking of a dad and a younger child. Okay, let's put an older dad and an older child. So a son that's out of college, 23, 24, 25, living on his own, but he and dad struggle. Any thoughts with that? And it might be past junk that started back in 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Just a constant level. How can two adult men, father, son, repair the relationship?
I think they need to separate their boundaries once they get off on their own, and they're really on their own. Of course, we can have insurance till 26 now, so I don't know when it's really on your own, but you get out on your own. Parents don't have that control over them like they used to, but they still sometimes want to run their life. I had one the other day whose son wanted a tattoo, and boy, they went to war over this tattoo issue, and they're still not talking. Now, personally, I grew up in an age I don't have a tattoo, but I know a lot of people who have tattoos, so it's a whole different vibe now. So I'm not saying, for or against tattoos. It's just the fact that issue shouldn't destroy a relationship. Right. But you're right, there's a lot of other stuff that has come on before that. But I think you can maybe say something to dad, maybe say something once, and then let it go. After that, don't keep going on. Boy, I don't know why you got that tattoo. I can't believe you got that on your body. And just continually harp on it. But I've also seen sons poke at their dad saying, you're too bigoted. You're too stuck in your ways. You're this or that. You were never a good dad. So I think they both have to pull back and be responsible for their own stuff and stop attacking each other.
Well, I think that it is both the son and the dad should be able to read the body language from what they're saying to the other person. You can tell if you're the son and you just took a jab at dad, you know it by their body language. If you're the dad and you took a jab at the son, then you know it. And you can see if they're angered, if they're deflated, if they're defeated. You can tell that through their body language. And that's probably you're not trying to crush them, you're trying to help them reach change.
I think you can tell that. but a lot of times men have trouble with it. I think that's something that a woman can see that we need help with, but we don't. What happens is if there's a challenge from another man, we up it a notch. And so we have to really fight against that. That's not natural for us, you know. That's the same thing like we don't tell a teacher to look a boy in the eye who's real angry, because that's a challenge. Men don't do that to each other. So I think it's something we have to really work hard at. It comes more naturally to you guys, but that's an area we need some improvement in.